You brought this case before the court. What's going on?
Well, we had been together for a really long time. About 4 years ago, we decided to adopt a child, and she broke up with me about 4 years ago. About 2 years ago, and stopped paying child support. And so I have had all the responsibility of our daughter, and she barely comes around.
That's really not
Ma'am, let her finish. You will have your opportunity to speak.
true. Okay.
Okay, I can roll my eyes too. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Judge Bench, where we break down real courtroom drama, expose legal realities, and deliver the truth. No filters, no frills. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss another deep dive into the courtroom. Today, we're examining a case from Support Court with Judge Vonda. That struck a nerve with viewers across the board. One, that highlights the length some people will go to avoid financial responsibility, even when a child is involved. This episode begins with the petitioner, a woman who took the courageous step of adopting a child with her partner several years ago. But things took a drastic turn when that partner, now the respondent, abruptly ended the relationship 2 years ago and, more crucially, stopped contributing any financial support for their daughter. Since then, the burden of raising the child has fallen entirely on the petitioner, who claims her former partner doesn't even visit or communicate with the child anymore. From the outset, there's visible tension. The respondent attempts to defend her actions, but Judge Vonda immediately picks up on the inconsistencies.
Okay, ma'am, where do you used to work?
I was a teacher.
Okay. How much were you making as a teacher?
Oh, I think around 40,000.
Are you sure about that?
Well,
Because based on the paperwork that you provided, your teacher's salary was $55,000 a year.
that doesn't include what I put into profit sharing.
Is that true or not?
55?
$55,000. Your documents are correct, right?
Okay.
How much are you making now? Like, where are you working at now?
Well, I'm working at a store as a clerk, and I'm making 30,000 a year now.
Okay.
The respondent previously worked as a teacher, earning $55,000 a year. Now she's working as a retail clerk, making $30,000. On the surface, it might seem like just a career change. But once you hear her explanation, it becomes clear this was no coincidence. When questioned, the respondent admits she has a master's degree in accounting and a bachelor's in economics, yet she chose to take a significant pay cut. Her reason? She didn't want to continue paying higher child support. Judge Vonda doesn't let this slide. Her tone sharpens. What kind of parent deliberately reduces their income to avoid supporting their child? This is where the courtroom shifts from a dispute to a reckoning. Judge Vonda points out that the respondent didn't just leave a job, she made a calculated decision to manipulate the financial system and duck her legal obligations. And here's the thing. Under Texas law, courts are allowed to calculate child support based on earning potential, not just actual income, especially when it's clear someone is intentionally underemployed. That's exactly what Judge Vonda did here. The judge resets the child.
And you said you're a teacher, so
Yes.
what type of degrees do you have for that?
I have a degree in economics,
Okay. You have one degree or you have multiple degrees?
Well, and I have my master's in accounting.
You have a master's in accounting and you're working as a clerk.
Yes.
What are you doing at this job?
Well, I help people find clothes.
Like a retail clerk?
Yes.
Ma'am, you have a master's degree.
Yes.
Did-
But I don't have to make all that money
No, you.
if I'm just going to give it all away anyway.
So let me get something straight. She's deliberately, what you're saying is she's deliberately working at this retail job. Now I get it.
Support based on the respondent's previous teacher salary, establishing her gross monthly income at $4,583.33. After deductions, that brings her net income to roughly $37,448. From there, Judge Vonda calculates the child support obligation to be $758. Times 90. Add in $400 per month for the child's portion of the health insurance. And the total monthly obligation comes to $158.90. No payment plans, no reductions, no loopholes. It's not just the numbers that make this ruling so impactful, it's the moral stance behind it. Judge Vonda reminds everyone in that courtroom and us watching that the child is the priority, not the past relationship, not the drama, and certainly not the cats, which, for some reason, the respondent bizarrely brings up in an attempt to discredit the petitioner's parenting. But Judge Vonda doesn't waver. Her message is crystal clear. This courtroom isn't here for your excuses or your emotional manipulation. It's here to ensure a child gets what she needs to survive and thrive. Emotional support is not a currency. Children can't be raised on affection alone. There are bills to pay, mouths to feed, and futures to secure. And let's not forget, the respondent had the audacity to say, "I just don't understand why you're being so mean." No, what's mean is abandoning your responsibility and expecting the court.
You stopped working as a teacher so you would not have to pay that higher amount in child support. Is that not the case?
Well,
Is that not the case?
we discussed it and she didn't seem to have an objection. And I just thought I was paying enough.
No.
And when I talked to my daughter, she loves me more anyway, and she should come live with me. And I know that's not a matter for this court.
And your former partner to carry the burden while you play games with your employment status. What's mean is denying your daughter the resources she deserves because you feel entitled to keep more money for yourself. When the respondent asked if the judge could make the other woman bring the child to visit, Judge Vonda once again made it clear. This case is about financial support, not custody or visitation. And in a final moment of brutal honesty, she reminds both parties not to let personal grievances interfere with their duty to the child. Judge Vonda closes the case with dignity, but also firmness. It's a lesson in accountability, and as always, she backs it up with the law. So what can we take away from this case? First, intentionally underemploying yourself to avoid child support doesn't just hurt the other parent, it hurts the child most.
Your child support is going to be set at that $55,000 because it sounds like you are intentionally underemployed. So gross at $4,583.33. So I have your child support obligation at $758.90 plus $400 for the monthly health insurance comes out to $1,158.90.
Second, no matter your personal circumstances or relationship status, if you've legally agreed to raise a child, that agreement doesn't end when the relationship does. And third, courts can and will hold you accountable if you try to manipulate the system. This case on support court may be unique in the details, but the message rings true in every courtroom across the country. If you bring a child into the world or adopt one, you owe them more than love. You owe them support, financially, emotionally, practically. Thanks for watching this breakdown here on Judge Bench. If you found this insightful or know someone who's been through something similar, share this video. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. More courtroom reality, legal analysis, and powerful lessons are coming your way.